Oh yes, I love face-to-face nominations. Danny's not happy though. It was Celebrity Big Brother's Easter Evil nominations, and Michael came back! Yay! I love Michael. I really wish that they'd put him back in the house because I just love him. He was hiding eggs all over the house, and the housemates were given clues and they had to go and find the eggs, and it caused a slight bit of drama. One of the clues said they would find an egg where Danny said that Chris was annoying him, and Chris was really upset by this. Danny wasn't sure, but he says, "Oh, was that me? Because you were annoying me with the megaphones." That's fair. I really don't understand why Chris was so upset about it. Like, he was in the diary room for an hour, crying, and okay, his emotions are valid, right? But I just feel like he's been way too sensitive, considering him and Jojo aren't exactly relaxed in the house. There's plenty of times where he would have annoyed me as well, especially when he's whispering in the bedroom at night. He just needs to fucking chill out. Maybe that whole situation is just starting to get to him now. Obviously, with people making comments about him being fake friends with Jojo to get TikTok followers or whatever is obviously still on his mind as well. One clue was that the egg was where they says that Chesney was being serious when he had that fake argument with Chris. I still think he was being serious. This was obviously just to stir up a wee bit of drama before nominations, but they got food and they were all sitting having dinner, and Donna was like, "Oh, maybe Michael's going to come back in dressed as a bunny." I really just need him to be back in Big Brother. Am I the only person who is fucking sick to death of seeing Ella cry? This whole episode, I feel as if that's all she done. I've got a follower on here who's not going to be very happy with me saying that, but it's true. She's obviously pissed off. She was in the bedroom with Angelica, and she was like, "Oh, I'm obviously going to be up, like, who else would it be?" And then she was saying, "Oh, it's not going to be Chesney, it's not going to be Jojo, it's not going to be Chris, blah, 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 blah," right? So when Big Brother sat them down on the couch, and he was saying what they said, and she went, "Oh, it's just true, isn't it? It's just true." It doesn't matter if it's true. It's still talking about nominations. See, the more she was like, "Oh, it's just the truth," I'd have been like, "Are you fucking for real?" Now, Chris can't get annoyed at her because he's broke the rules. Jojo's broke the rules. Has anybody else broke the rules? I can't remember. But it's the fact that she's like, "Oh, I mean, it's true. I mean, who is going to vote for them?" Shut. Don't fucking talk about nominations. And then the punishment in a fucking cell in the garden for 2.5 hours. Pathetic. I was on live a couple of days ago and we were talking about punishments, and one of my followers was saying, "Oh, they should throw like they should throw tomatoes at them or whatever." And it was so funny because the night Danny says, "Oh, let's get the food for the kitchen and throw it at them," and it made me think of. And you know what? Maybe they should have done that. Now, they were sitting in that cage snug as a bug. They had blankets, cushions. She had a bottle of juice. And she was sitting greeting. And I know that she was talking about Chesney and Mickey at the time. But I was just like, the whole episode she was just greeting. Like, she'd be as well just going home. It was finally time for face-to-face noms. My favourite. Now, was it as brutal as I would have liked? No. But it was acceptable. Angelica voted for Patsy, as she has since the start, and Patsy voted for her back. No surprises there. She voted for Jack because she felt like they haven't really bonded, they don't really know each other that well. He voted for her straight back. Nobody was really giving a fuck. Chesney voted for Ella and Patsy, and we're kind of thinking, right, it's not a big deal that he's voted for Ella, right? But obviously, she's got these pent-up emotions about how he's been acting in the house. I don't really think Patsy was that bothered, to be honest. But Chesney and everybody else basically that voted for her was saying when it comes to tasks you're not interested, or you're huffy, or like you'll just kind of do your own thing, and it kind of brings the mood down. Chris voted for Ella and Danny, and when he voted for Danny it was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, like I feel really bad." And then 2 seconds later Danny put the egg in his basket and he's like voting him straight back. Danny voted for Chris and Jojo, and while I like Danny, I do think that this was a game move. I think that he knows that they've got a good chance of winning, or at least that Jojo's got a good chance of winning, and I think that that's why he nominated them. Donna voted Angelica and Jojo. She says to Angelica, when I get up in the morning and I've not had my coffee, like, I'm not in a good mood and you're like running around Clapham and stuff. And Big Brother was like, Donna, all the housemates are taking this seriously. And I really do think that she was taking it seriously, but she was just trying to do it in a way where she wasn't being a bitch. She also voted for Jojo, and for the life of me, I can't remember the reason. Ella voted for Chesney and Chris. Now, when she voted for Chesney, she says that when Mickey was in the house and he was saying certain things, I feel as if he should have stuck up for me more or whatever. And people online were like, oh, it wasn't that bad. You only said something to her once, it wasn't that bad. But there was a lot of newspaper reports saying that Mickey was doing that to her all the time. And apparently he had been in trouble for it a few times. So when he was getting asked to leave the house and they says to him, oh, you've said inappropriate things to Ella, and he says, oh, I wasn't aware of that. But in other newspaper articles it had says that they spoke to him about it before. But you never know, these newspapers, they just make shit up. So Chesney was really upset because he was saying he's got a daughter at Ella's age and he feels like Mickey was kind of joking around with her and he's upset that she feels that he should have stuck up for her. It was kind of a drama out of nowhere. Like, Chesney wasn't saying any things to her, but she felt as if Chesney should have been sticking up for her. But do you know what? She's a grown-ass woman, she can fucking speak up for herself. I think it would be different, and I don't know if this is the case, but if Mickey was saying things to that she was uncomfortable with, and maybe Chesney was sitting laughing about it, but then why didn't she turn around and say what the fuck he's laughing at? Do you think that that's appropriate to speak to a woman like that? I don't know, I'm just so forward that I would just address it at the time. So she also nominated Chris, and she says, oh, somebody told me before I came in here that you come in to shows and you're a game player. Keep in mind that Chris has only ever been on Love Island like 8 years ago, right? And other than that, he just does that horse racing thing that I didn't even know he done. And he says, oh, who is it? And she says, oh, I don't want to talk about it, or I don't want to bring it up or whatever. It's obviously Olivia Atwood. Clearly. She's the one she used to go out with him. And she's been on Towie and she says she's really close with her. And she says, oh, I know the two of them are going to get together. Completely wrong. But like Chris says, he's been on one show 8 years ago. And then when she says, oh, Daly says to watch out for you because like you're a game player or whatever, like she's a fucking reality star as well. Ugh. She was doing my nothing. Jack voted Ella because he says that she doesn't really like getting involved in the tasks. When Jojo was nominating, she nominated Patsy and Ella, and when she put her egg into Ella's basket, she says, oh, I'm sorry, and she's like, oh, I'm not bothered, like, just give me all your eggs. And then when she gave her the reason, she started greeting, and she walked out the room, and it was this big fucking drama. Like, if they're all in there trying to make out as if they don't want to win, there isn't even a prize at the end, right? Ella's only getting paid 20 grand to be in there, she's getting paid the lowest amount in the house. And she just made this big, massive fucking drama out of it for no reason. I mean, she literally said the other day that Jojo wasn't her cup of tea, and now she's greeting because she's nominated her. And Patsy nominated Angelica and Ella. So originally it was Ella, Angelica, Patsy, Jojo and Chris that was up for nomination. And I thought, oh my god, like, Jojo and Chris are going to be split up now, right? But Big Brother says there was a twist and they could go into the middle and pick an egg, and if it had the golden egg in it, they could take themselves down. And see, before anybody opened any eggs or done anything, I knew that Jojo was going to get it. Because she's got such a positive mental attitude that it had to be her. Like, I didn't have any doubt in my mind. So when she picked the egg with the golden egg in it, and then she found out that she'd put somebody else up, I was like, oh, this is crazy. So Jojo chose Danny, and she said the reason was that Chris had been upset earlier, and he came out and he's like, oh, alright, bitches, like, and it just wasn't the time and the place. And he wasn't happy about it. But he literally just nominated Chris and Jojo. And he's like, oh, if I feel something, if I want to say something, I'll say it at the time. That's all fine and well, but he literally just put the two of them up for nomination. So why was he shocked? There's going to be 3 evictions tomorrow, and you know what? I actually think that Chris will go because people are not over this whole cat litter situation. Let me know what you thought of tonight's episode, and let me know who you think's going to go tomorrow night. If you like reality TV and Big Brother, consider giving me a follow. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. And if you know anybody else who likes Big Brother, consider sharing, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!